Hi, everybody, and welcome into GC Live here on Gamecock Central. Thank you all for bearing with me. I'm so sorry we are a few minutes late, but we are here, and I'm so glad.
We are a few minutes late. Whoa. Don't take me with you under the bus on this one.
We're a team, Jack. No,
we have the receipts right here.
We do have the receipts. Jack, speaking of throwing under the bus, Jack throwing me under the bus, but whatever. We'll have to set the camera. No, I'm kidding. No, we'll do what we did last week where I put me as the main thing on the screen and then Jack off. I'm totally kidding. It was all my fault. And thank you, Jack. Yes, I'm here to admit on my own, it was my fault that we are starting late. Guys, it is a crazy time of year right now. So first of all, happy opening day. I know that technically yesterday was opening night because the Yankees and the Giants played. So woohoo, baseball started yesterday. But today is like the real deal. Last night was the appetizer. Today is the main course. Tomorrow is the dessert because AAA starts. So that is my world. I work for the Chicago White Sox AAA affiliate, the Charlotte Knights, and we start tomorrow. So the team is here. I've been out all day doing interviews, so busy, just constantly somewhere doing something. So glad that I'm able to step away for a second and talk all things South Carolina with all of you. So Jack, I got to see you for all of 10 seconds on Tuesday and it was amazing. But how are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it was, it looked like you were definitely busy on, I didn't realize you were
in the middle of a hit. So I just tossed it to something, and then we were about to come back out to me maybe 20 seconds later. I was like, oh my gosh, so good to see you, but I'm really about to be right back on camera.
I didn't realize you were doing the, what's the technical term?
Pre-game show.
Yeah, well, that and hosting. I didn't realize that because I think last year when I came up, you were just hanging out. I want to say that was the case. I can't remember.
I think I hosted.
Maybe you did, but I don't remember you being as busy as you were right away. But it was good seeing you for all of 10 seconds. And then South Carolina didn't play well the rest of the night. So,
well, at the beginning of the game, I'm like, okay, they're keeping it close. Like, it's not bad. And then it just started to go downhill from there. But I was right next to their dugout the whole game for the most part. And at the beginning, like, I put out a tweet. I'll give Monty Lee credit. Like, he was trying to hype the guys up, trying to keep the energy high. I respect it. I appreciate it. Obviously, that's not going to be easy for the team, especially given what they've endured throughout the season. But he was trying to motivate them, get the guys in the dugout to cheer on their teammates. And, you know, I respect that. But it didn't go South Carolina's way. They'll have another chance at it this weekend against Georgia, which, again, we say this every week, but that won't be an easy series. So we'll talk a little today about baseball, about the game on Tuesday, about this weekend, about Paul Mainieri's comments. I feel like that got Gamecock Twitter into an absolute stir, which rightfully so. So we'll get into all of that. And the reason why we can is because of our friend Clint Hammond.
Yeah. So if you are in the market to buy a home and need help with your mortgage, anything like that, buying a home, it's a complicated process. Don't know where to begin. Get in touch with our guy, Clint, who's been our presenting show sponsor for literally just as long as I can remember. I mean, ever since we've been at GC, he's always been the presenting sponsor. So get in touch with him. He's also a lifelong Gamecock fan and has been in the mortgage industry for over 20 years now. So you know what you're getting with a guy like him. A lot of experience, but also someone that gets the day-to-day struggles of South Carolina athletics at times. So give him a call, 803-422-6797. The NMLS number for Clint is 71597. 71597. I don't know why that rolled off the tongue bad. And then go to clinthammond.com for more info.
He is the best, and he is the reason why we are here. So thank you, Clint, for all you do. Okay, Jack, we need to get into talking baseball. So this is a subject that has been very interesting really all season long, but especially over this past week. I don't know. Where should we start? Should we start with Tuesday? Should we start with this weekend? Should we start with Paul?
Let's not bury the lead. Let's get what everyone wants out of the way first. Is the story that came out the other day. My good buddy Koki Riley, who works at the Advocate out in New Orleans, interviewed Paul for the first public interview in the wake of stepping down. South Carolina parting ways with him on Saturday. So that story came out 2 days ago, and it has created quite a stir, like you said, Kendall. Just a lot of crazy things said. But then again, that's exactly the Paul Mainieri experience. He is truly a wild card in terms of. I texted Koki afterwards, and he was like, "Yeah, Paul is just the gift that keeps on giving in terms of you never know what that guy's going to say." And in this case, I have the article pulled up on my phone here. There's just a ton of different quotes. We could really pick and choose where we want to start with this. I mean, there's just so much to get into. And I think Gamecock fans have every right to be, very, PO, very not happy with what he said on the way out.
Yeah, we need to get into some of the quotes. So I have it up here on my phone. So excuse me, looking down at my phone. And I want to go through some of them one by one because, yeah, it is interesting.
It's a lot. It's a lot in this story.
So the first one that I want to get into, sorry, everybody, it's like the long pause and like the sigh. Yeah. I feel like that's how everyone's feeling. The first one that I want to get into is, here it is. Okay, this is what I was looking for because I wanted to quote it directly. So he said, "The people here just got very impatient. I'm not talking necessarily even about the athletic director. He was great. But I think the people above him, and I think the fans and the media, everybody here was pretty impatient." So that, in my opinion, and again, we'll just, try to keep this as unbiased as possible. Jack and I are both South Carolina grads, so of course we're not going to love seeing
let it rip if you need to. Let it rip. Because
I don't. Here's the thing. I think Paul, in my one experience doing the South Carolina game, he was really great. He was super nice to me. He was awesome. I know he gave good quotes. He's always So I don't. But my only thing is about this quote. I just yes, you hit the nail on the head. Fans, whether it's at South Carolina or whether it's across college sports, this isn't the time to coach in college sports if you want to have all these opportunities and opportunity after opportunity. And I don't think it's fair to say that when you are a back-to-back College World Series winning program. Obviously, it's been over a decade, but you've done that. That's not fair to say. And then you go out there and lose to Queens and the Citadel and Army and schools that you should not lose to. If you are South Carolina, that is not acceptable. If South Carolina fans are going to expect one thing, it's a good baseball team. And that is the truth. So to say that they're impatient, and I don't like that either, because a lot of fans are giving hard-earned money to support NIL collectives now in today's day and age. And I understand a lot of it is donors and people that are way up top. And I'm not claiming to know everything about that world because I don't. But there are fans that they're donating, whether it's money to NIL, whether it's their time and money that they're taking to go out to games or to watch games for a team and a program that they have seen be successful. It's South Carolina. Players want to go play at a storied program such as South Carolina. So that, to me, I didn't think was fair to put on the fan base because they have the right to be frustrated. And I don't know. I'm going to stick up for South Carolina fans. I went to school there, obviously, but they have the right. And in today's day and age, and we've seen this a ton with college football, and we'll talk about it more, I'm sure, as the season starts with football. It's not the day and age to need patience, to be honest. And whether that's fair or that's not fair, that's the reality of the situation that we live in with college athletics, and especially with South Carolina baseball. It is expected that program is good and competitive, and fans have the right to say, this isn't working.
Let me just say right off the rip that I've seen a lot of South Carolina baseball the last year and a half, probably more than most. And I've gotten the chance to cover and follow Paul around for a lot of games. And I enjoyed my time getting to interact with him. Always very nice to me, always kind. Remember remembered my name. I mean, just a nice guy. So every interaction I had with him, for the most part, was very good. There were a few that were a little, not great, but that's in the heat of a loss or something, right? So it's not really as much as that. That said, the interview that he gave, and I don't blame the paper at all that interviewed him for doing the service of getting this out there, because someone eventually was going to interview him, right? And I think it's very, very ironic.
Well, that's just like journalism. Like, you got to do it. Like, it's good journalism.
It's very ironic that it's a Louisiana paper and not a Columbia paper. Now, the quote about the fans are impatient, the media is impatient. Heck, it's kind of crazy of him to say the higher ups above Jeremiah Donati are impatient. But there's a direct quote that kind of correlates with all this, and it's kind of all his fault to begin with. As a guy, as someone that does not take much accountability at all for anyone or for himself, instead choosing to blame players and coaches and now the fans and the media, he said, quote, this is from June of 2024, which is when he had his introductory press conference. He said, quote, this program isn't in the doldrums. They won 37 games last year. They won 3 games in the SEC tournament. They won a game in the regional. They're close. There's talent on this team. I know there's talent on this team. And right after that, he said, he does not have a 3-year plan. He does not have a 5-year plan. He's got a 1-year plan to turn this thing around. And what does he go out and do? He leads South Carolina to its most losses in program history, most losses in SEC play in program history. Gamecocks were 28-29 last year and 6-24 in the SEC. So I bring that quote up from 2 years ago to say he can't. It's very hypocritical of him to say that the fans are impatient when he's the one that fed into it, saying that, I have a 1-year plan to turn this thing around, and there's talent on this team. Which is right. He took a NCAA tournament team and turned them into the joke of the SEC in about a 12-month span. And if it weren't for Missouri, South Carolina is easily the worst team in the SEC. But luckily, Missouri does exist. So, it's very hypocritical of him to say that. And I think it's wrong. I think it's a disservice for him to say that to, number one, the fans that pay their hard-earned money to come to games at Founders Park. I know the crowds have definitely thinned out under Mainieri's watch over the last year and a half. But still, people go to those games. People spend money wanting to see South Carolina baseball be good, and that's on him for having the product not be good enough. The other part of it is, and he mentions there's another quote in there that I know we're going to get to about the little 80-game era and how it's not going to affect his overall legacy. Well, tell that to the players on last year's team that most of them want to be Gamecocks. Almost all of them do. And that was for the most part, except like 8 guys, that was their last time playing baseball at South Carolina. Heck, some of them last time playing baseball in general. And it's a disservice to the players, the parents. It's an atrocity. And not a lot of them can speak up and have the platform like we do. And yes, you're right, Kendall. We are supposed to remain unbiased. And again, I'm someone that enjoyed my time getting to cover Paul Mainieri through the ups and downs, not a ton of bad interactions. But when you say stuff like this, and it's not surprising that he did say this, when you say stuff like this, someone's got to say something in kind of the defense of the overwhelming majority. And it's just definitely a very bad look, and it kind of sums up his time here as, again, he does not take responsibility for anything. The only time I can remember him saying that he takes responsibility for something was his little statement when he stepped down about the overall record and how he takes full responsibility for that. Well, besides that, all I ever heard from him was throwing players under the bus, coaches under the bus. It's always someone else's fault, but not his. And now it's the fan and media fault for why, they were too impatient, which I don't know. I think there's a high standard here of winning, right? Again, an NCAA tournament team, a program with a rich 50-year history of going to Omaha and playing for championships, winning 2 national championships. Maybe it's different if he didn't set the bar so high right away and then the statement comes out, but it's like, you did this to yourself, and you have no one to blame but yourself. But he's not going to blame himself.
I do really feel for the players. And like I said, like, being someone that's not as in it as you are in terms of like being at all the games and whatnot, like, it is for me sad that they're already going through a really hard season, and it's disappointing, and it's been defeating in a lot of ways for them. But they still have to get back out there every weekend, several times in the middle of the week, and keep going. And I give them credit for that. And I know it was hard against UNC the other night. And like, I understand, this isn't going well at all this season to anybody's standards, but it's even harder because when did the article come out? Monday or Tuesday?
It came out, I want to say it came out on Tuesday. I think it was.
Yeah, so the day of the game. So that article comes out, and like, that some of these guys, I'm sure there are some that are good about it and put the phone away, but some of these guys are on their phones and they're checking social. And that's just, to me, like, if you want to like say what you want to say, you have every right to say everything you want to say, even if it is dragging South Carolina fans. You have the right to say that. It doesn't mean that people have to agree with it, but to do it in the middle of the season when guys that you coached are still out there playing and trying to fight for something, and they're still dealing with the effects of what has been a really, really rough start to the season, that to me, like, that hurts me for the players, because they're already dealing with enough. And just to add that on top, and seeing your coach who was with you not even a week ago saying those things about the program, calling it a little era of your career, and kind of belittling the experience, that is, I feel for them. Like, that really sucks. Like, it does.
It does. It does. I'm looking back through the rest of the quotes here, and the direct quote, I'm trying to pull it up here. Let's see. Where's the one about his little legacy? Yeah, he said, quote, "I'm not going to let one little 80-game era ruin my feelings about my career. And I hope other people don't look at it that way either." Look, he had a great Hall of Fame career. Great career. But yeah, I think the lesson that needs to definitely be learned here is that, again, Paul, when he was hired, had been out of the game for 3+ years, hadn't coached since 2021 at LSU. The game had changed a lot since then. NIL is a big thing now. Transfer portal is massive. And he had no idea how to operate any of it. He said as such when he got introduced in that first press conference in June 2024. So, I think if he just had not said, there's a lot of things he shouldn't have said, but if he hadn't just said the 1-year plan thing and instead just kind of left it, look, it's going to take, and that's the other thing. He's also older, and I understand the side of it. Like, he doesn't have a ton of time. Like, I get why he said it's a 1-year plan, but at the same time, I think he really dug himself into a little bit of a hole, especially when they didn't win right away. That's the problem. And I think a lot of this could have just been avoided if, as much as this is Paul's fault, it's like, he was living happily in retirement. And yes, he had the itch to coach again, but it wasn't until Ray Tanner asked him if he wants to, come out of retirement to be the coach. So I think in a way you kind of have to blame, if there is blame to pass around, blame it on Ray Tanner, blame it on the administration for approving the hire. I get it. He's a Hall of Fame coach, won the most games in college baseball as the active wins leader before retiring. I get it. But at the same time, the signs were there that he was out of coaching and the game has changed. Should have just hired somebody younger. Maybe should have just hired Monty Lee. We'll never know, but it's a decision that I think will go down as probably one of the worst that South Carolina's made. And yeah, it may not impact his overall legacy, but make no mistake, it was very rough. It was a very rough 80-game experience for him here at South Carolina. And he even said, he had a lot of lonely days in his 2-bedroom apartment where he just sat by himself, made recruiting calls, talked to friends, talked to family on the phone. It just kind of never felt like he was all the way in. It kind of felt like at some point he had a 5-year contract. There was just no way he was going to make it the full distance. He's 68 right now. I think the better thing would have just for him to just stay in retirement or go be a volunteer somewhere, kind of like what Clemson does with Jack Leggett. It wouldn't surprise me, honestly, at this point if Paul just did that moving forward. But, he loves the game. He loves coaching, but obviously it just did not work out at South Carolina for a number of reasons that we don't have enough time to get into on this show. But, yeah, it's just, it was just a very bad hire and never really worked out. The signs were there from the start, but I think it was a little too late for anyone to really know how bad it would get.
Well, I wish him the best. And genuinely, he was nice to me when I talked to him. I know he was nice to you. I didn't love that article, but we do. And at this point, all you can do is just turn the page and keep moving forward. And you hope that it won't impact the program for years and years to come. You hope that South Carolina can get back up on its feet, rely on a lot of the success that they've had in the past, and be able to continue to recruit well and, get people out there that want to play for the program that are talented baseball players. And there are a lot of them out there. It's fine. South Carolina fans, you have the right to watch your team and you have the right to form an opinion. And that's all I have to say.
And hopefully the rest of the season will go completely different direction. I know they lost on Tuesday to North Carolina. Didn't look great. But you know what? I think things will be a lot better moving forward. The season's going to be a little bit more enjoyable to watch moving forward with Monty Lee at the helm, a guy that does care a lot about his players, wants South Carolina to have success. Like, you're talking about complete opposite of Paul Mainieri in a lot of ways. It's just the fact of the matter.
He was really bought in, just from when I mean, I'm not joking. I'm standing from here to the door away from him throughout the majority of the game the other day. And every pitch, I mean, he was saying something and trying to keep the guys encouraged. He's very vocal. Guy would foul it off and he'd be like, great cut, or, pitcher would throw a strike, and he's encouraging them. I liked that. I appreciated that because I felt like he, even until the end, was continuing to try to motivate his players and be very engaged in the process. And so that was my biggest takeaway, even though South Carolina didn't come away with the win that they wanted against UNC. Yeah. I could appreciate that. This is such a hypothetical question. I feel like it is.
It's a very interesting question.
It is interesting.
Make no mistake, Monty Lee was definitely very much involved in this head coaching search the last time. When Mark Kingston got fired, it's always been known, Monty Lee wants the South Carolina job. Now, he ultimately didn't get it, but I think, in terms of had he been hired, I think, forget about what he did at Clemson and what he did at Charleston. I feel like that's very irrelevant to right now. The people that don't want him hired because of his background at Clemson and getting fired there, I get it, but I have no problem with him running the show in the interim. And if he had been the head coach from the start, 2 years ago, instead of Mainieri, I think you would have had a lot more guys come back. You got to remember, there were a lot of guys that, yes, while most came back for 2025, there were a lot of them that ultimately had draft decisions to make. Some of them hit the portal. You probably could have gotten a Cole Messina back, who loved playing under Paul or under Monty Lee. Maybe an Eli Jones. There are a lot of guys you potentially could have brought back, but you didn't because Mainieri was hired, and then it's okay, I have a draft decision to make because all the players really wanted Monty to be the head coach back then, and I'm sure it's going to be the same deal now if he has some success here as the interim. So it's really tough to say for sure how much farther along they would have been. I do think they would have made the postseason last year. I think that much is very true. Maybe if Monty's running the ship, first off, you wouldn't have Terry Rooney here. You wouldn't have Mainieri here. You would have a much different looking coaching staff. And I think Monty could have gotten some good assistants on staff. He could have really had a lot of success, I think, last year. And now he's kind of getting his chance to do so. again, he's in a very deep hole in terms of like what Paul left him with at 12-11 on the year. But, we'll see. I'm very interested to see how his record compares to the way South Carolina started this year, because I think you have to separate the two. Right now, he is 1-2 as a head coach in the interim, and we'll see where things go from here, because you got a big series this weekend at Georgia, and things get tougher from here. But it is an interesting hypothetical, because I think a lot could be different right now if you had just hired Monty right from the start. I'm not saying it would have been perfect, but I think the hire would have been better than what you had here with Mainieri.
Well, Jack, as we continue with the show here today, we wouldn't be able to do it without a couple of great sponsors, Andy Ludicky and Ferry Chevrolet.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start with Ferry Chevrolet real quick. If you're a Gamecock fan who's interested in a new or used vehicle, make sure you check out our friends over at Ferry Chevrolet in Orangeburg, led by a fourth-generation dealer in Joseph Ferry. The family-owned business over at Ferry Chevrolet has been serving the community since 1926, so 100 years now. It is conveniently located just off of I-26 between Columbia and Charleston. The folks over at Ferry Chevrolet are local, trustworthy, and always transparent. The business began in St. Matthews and was built on honesty, integrity, and a handshake, and they still operate with those same principles to this day. Head on over to ferrychevrolet.com today to check out their inventory and to get in touch. And as I pull up the logo here for Andy Ludicky, let me tell you guys about him real quick. He is now our main baseball show sponsor. So we're thrilled to have our friend Andy Ludicky sponsoring our baseball coverage this spring. He's a big baseball fan, and from his line of work, he has seen firsthand the fantastic traits that baseball players bring to the franchise world. If you're sick of your job, ready to leave the corporate rat race, want to diversify, build wealth, and or leave a legacy, or even have a job and want a side hustle, Andy can help you out. He's a franchise consultant as well as a franchise owner, and helps people find franchises that fit their skill sets, passions, and financial requirements. His services are 100% free, which is always a good thing to hear, and he's here to help you if you have any questions about business ownership. So head on over to myperfectfranchise.net. Again, that is myperfectfranchise.net to learn more, or you can text or call Andy at 404-973-9901. Again, the number is 404-973-9901 to get in touch with our friend Andy Ludicky.
All right, thank you to our incredible sponsors. Yeah, Jack, shout out. This is the time of year, everybody. Buckle up.
Oh, yep.
We start talking about baseball more. And it's hockey season still. So hockey season until June. Yeah. So we'll talk about hockey season and baseball for the next few months. And everyone should just love it.
Not looking good for the Cubs, though, right now. I got the game off to the side over here, and it's 7-2 Nationals.
I can't watch it because I can't watch at all when they're playing the Nationals because the TV market.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's so. I mean, it's at Wrigley. It's kind of surprising.
Yeah, I can't watch it. Even if they're playing the Nationals at Wrigley, the Orioles at Wrigley, any team that is within this area, Braves, obviously, same thing. I think the Reds. Those are the four that we cannot watch here in North Carolina unless you.
Wow, I didn't know that. I
Sports Network. Yeah.
Obviously the Braves, but I did not know that. But
we're checking on the White Sox score.
I know they were winning, and now I think they're losing.
They're losing 4-1. But first at bat of the season, former Charlotte Knight, Chase Mydroth goes yard. Shout out, he is awesome.
I can see that.
How far is the drive? So from here, it's like what, 4 from Charlotte? So what is it, 3 for you? 3-ish?
I want to say 3, and I'm leaving sometime tomorrow morning, probably after radio tomorrow. I'll head out to Athens. So I will be there for all 3 games this weekend. I also just booked my flight to head out to Baton Rouge for the what was supposed to be the Paul Mainieri reunion experience in May. I've jokingly said maybe
canceled.
maybe he'll throw out the first pitch. Maybe he'll bring out the lineup card. Maybe he'll just be in LSU's dugout. Maybe he'll be on the call. I mean, who knows? There's a lot of opportunities. Maybe they'll get out like a Paul Mainieri bobblehead. Like, there's a lot of opportunities here. I think LSU, with all the news that they're in right now, with everything going on, with Will Wade being hired today as the basketball coach and everything, I think it wouldn't be the craziest thing. And yeah, I'll definitely be sure to give a Paul a nice hello and tell him Gamecock fans really miss him. So
you should ask for an exclusive.
I've thought about it. In all seriousness, I have thought about it. I think maybe down the road.
Anybody deserves it. It's you.
Maybe down the road when that series comes closer, because personally, I do want to know if he's going to be at that series.
No way.
I don't know because he does have a home in Baton Rouge, so he's very close with that program there. I don't know. We'll see, but that's a long ways from now. We got the big series this weekend. South Carolina taking on Georgia, starting tomorrow night at 6 p.m. You want to get into previewing that a little bit? We'll talk.
Yeah. How are you feeling about it?
I don't know. I'm feeling. Didn't feel great after the North Carolina game. I don't really think this season's going to be all too grand, but I think South Carolina's got a better chance, I think, now that Monty's taken over compared to Paul, obviously. But can they win the series this weekend? Yes. I think they have the pitching to do so. Speaking of which, it is going to be Josh Gunther starting tomorrow. Then you got Amp Phillips starting on Saturday. And then notably, no Brandon Stone on Sunday. It is TBA right now. And we actually just spoke to Monty about like an hour and a half ago. I asked him about it. He said, quote, I would love to just say Stone's going to throw on Sunday, but I would be kicking myself in the rear end if we find a way to win game 1 and then we're in game 2 and we've got a lead about the 6th inning and we're not going to pitch him. So I just want to have the option to use, in my mind, our best pitchers, whether we have them available to help us win games. It's really that simple. It's more of a testament to how good I think he is. It's just, hey, in those high leverage moments like him and Valentine, like if we have to use those guys out of the bullpen to win games, we're going to do it. And either one of them could start if we use one of them. So it's really about using the pieces of the puzzle the right way to help us win the series. So, and he also mentioned that it's not impossible for Stone to maybe pitch twice this weekend. But I think definitely it'll be a play-by-ear sort of thing. Like if South Carolina has a late lead on Friday or Saturday, we'll probably see Stone pitch at some point. If not, start him on Sunday.
I didn't forget about it because I've seen it, but playing at the professional level, things are a lot different in terms of timing and speed of a game. The amount of pitching changes in the game on Tuesday, Jack.
It was nuts.
Oh my goodness.
And I gotta say, a lot of Monty's pitching decisions weren't great. Now he didn't have every pitcher available because for whatever reason, I need to learn more about this, but South Carolina's got like something going on sickness-wise. For Mainieri was talking about it like a month and a half ago before the season got going. So they've been sick for a long while now, and guys are getting sick right and left. So he didn't have all his options available to pitch, but it's safe to say some of his pitching decisions weren't the best, and just guys weren't throwing strikes. But now you move on to this weekend, and we'll see if they can. I think they can win a game here. I don't know about take the series, but I think it's definitely possible to win a game. It's just Kendall. Georgia's offense is really good.
Yeah.
82 homers this year, 251 RBIs. The next closest team in terms of home runs this season is 56, and that's at Vanderbilt. So besides that, like South Carolina, for reference, has hit 34 home runs this year. So they've basically doubled in terms of offensive production. So I think South Carolina does have the pitching to match Georgia's might offensively, but does South Carolina have the bats to keep up with Georgia in what could be a bit of a slugfest weekend?
Hey, that's the kind of baseball that I like. I know that that's like controversial because if I want to watch a pitching duel, like if I'm in the mood for that, yes, like it's great. But I would love to see South Carolina be able to keep up offensively. And if they can take a game here, I think that's a win for them. So we'll see if they're able to do it. They were able to snag one against Arkansas, which was pretty impressive considering all circumstances last week. And Jack, I want to know how much you've slept over this last week.
I've slept better, I would say, a little bit. I was traveling all over the place last week, and now I'm back in Columbia. And yeah, I mean, I've been sleeping much better. Although, Saturday was kind of busy though with everything that went down, and then Sunday it tends to get busy on a baseball.
We have a group chat. I don't know if you've shared this on the radio. but we have a group chat for Gamecock Central, and the news breaks that Mainieri is gone.
It's just, yeah.
Jack was like, we like at first, didn't hear from Jack for like a little bit because I checked the group chat and I'm like, where is Jack? Like, what's going on? Jack was at a movie.
Yep, I was at a movie just enjoying my afternoon, and I get a call from Wes, and he's like, hey, man, something's about to go down, I think. And I'm like, all right. And Caroline was with me at the time, and we're 30 minutes into the movie, and I'm like, I text Caroline, who's still in the theater, and I'm like, Caroline, we got to go. Are you okay with that? And she's like, yep, well, let's go. And
you made her leave?
Made her strong. That is a very strong accusation. I asked, let me rephrase. I asked, hey, this came up. Can we get going? Because I need to head home and use my laptop. And she was like, yep, for sure. She was very cooperative.
Yeah, because Jack posted on his story, like, shout out Caroline for.
Yeah, totally.
It was very nice. I was like, oh, that's nice. Like, Jack just put out a really sweet post about his girlfriend. But what movie?
Project Hail Mary, the one with Ryan Gosling. Yeah.
Everyone keeps bringing up this movie. Am I supposed to be going to see this?
I got 30 minutes into it. I would say I've heard it's very good. Very good. No, Caroline did read the book, and again, we can't really form an opinion.
It's better than the movie. That's my only review that I've heard.
The book is very good, apparently. But yes, we're going to see the movie at some point. It's not going away out of theaters anytime soon. But I should get Paul to reimburse me for missing my movie because he just. But you know what? I wasn't expecting it to happen on Saturday. I was really expecting it to happen maybe Monday. Like it just felt, but the way Friday went, kind of, I think threw everything into a bit of a pretzel where it's just like you lost 22-6. So I can't really blame him for moving on, but yeah. So that was
like working in sports and working in news. Obviously, people can attest to this too. There's really never a good time. I don't think I've been sitting, and this could happen. This obviously happens for you, but anytime news breaks, like for us with baseball here at this level, if someone's getting called up, it's happened to me when I've been in line at Disney World. It's happened to me at family dinners, church. Like there have been multiple occasions where I get news and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I'm fully in the middle of living life. That's why we kind of have to look at our phones a lot.
I enjoy working in sports. I love it, but you're right. It's definitely, it's not the type of job you want to be in if you're not ready to put down everything you're doing. And I understand. I can't imagine being one of the insider guys that does it on a national scale where news breaks for like every team every 5 minutes.
Especially in like a trade dedeadline, like Adam Schefter on a trade deadline day.
It's amazing how Adam has like kids and a wife and everything, and you got like
he was breaking news about like hockey or something.
I know, it's crazy.
Like, what? Like someone goes via Adam Schefter, so and so is getting traded. I'm like, what is this? Where is this? I mean, shout out to him for that. But yeah, all those insiders. Elliot Friedman for hockey is constant. He's always working. Jeff Passan, who is my co-host for here with the Charlotte Knights, my one-time co-host.
Yeah.
He's always breaking news, info. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. And this is a great hypothetical that I'm probably going to have to think about in the future at some point, maybe. If somebody gets fired, like it's just, I won't even have my phone on me at that point. I will literally, like, even if my coworkers are at my wedding, like they will be the ones to handle that. Like there will be someone at GC corporate, we don't even have a corporate office, but GCHQ ready on standby in case anything happens. Like that would be.
I'll help you out with that, Jack.
That would be the type of thing to happen. Like it's not even just getting coaches fired. It's something always happening in South Carolina athletics. The most random thing. Like there's really never a dull moment in covering sports, and it goes far beyond just. It's the most random little news, and it can, especially.
I feel like it's time of year that's prime to like Wes for his wedding. I don't remember anything going crazy that day. And myself, Chris, Colin Taylor, we were all at that wedding, and I don't remember anything breaking, but he got married at the beginning of December. So it was kind of a chill. Like South Carolina had just beaten Clemson in football and then had a little bit of a break, like found out the bowl they were going to, had a little bit of a break, and nothing really was too crazy, like not even basketball wise. So yeah, if that's on your radar anytime soon, Jack, then
no, it's not now. But what I will say is, though, the best times of year to get married if you're in sports, just seemingly not fall during football season. Although actually, it's not ideal, but it's like if you pick and choose it on the right weekend, it can work. But summertime, and honestly, like this December, because otherwise, it's like, especially for us, like Caroline and I, like. We've talked about it, but it's like, she's teaching till June and I'm working till about June, and then summer's a little bit less hectic. But it would be if moral of the story, if anything ever popped up news wise, unless it's something so pressing. No, you know what? Actually, no. Nothing would stop it. Nothing would, unless the world is literally on fire. There would be nothing to stop it. So
nothing is stopping Jack from getting married the day of his hypothetical wedding.
Like if South Carolina football headquarters are just burning to the ground or something, I won't be there. Nope, will not be there. If something just insane happens, like if South Carolina just fired every coach in this split second, nope, would not be. Nope, not even happening. My phone will not be on me. It will be somewhere locked away and no computer at the way. Like nothing. Good. Because otherwise, I'll get I'll get killed if that is even the case. But if I'm spotted working, I would not. It would not go well. It would not go well. I don't know if Caroline would ever say yes. So we'll
set your boundary. I like it. Someone asked me. I wanted to finish the show with this because I thought it would be great. Someone asked me the best restaurant in Columbia, South Carolina. What is it? Everybody, help us out.
Yes.
Well, I had to tier it off because I can't. It's really hard to pick one, so I had to tier it. So my favorite fancy restaurant is Hall's, and I think Jack can probably agree with that.
It's good. It's good. I don't think it's pretty good. I don't know if I'd say
the best fancy restaurant in Columbia.
Like I'm trying to think.
Cola's is good. That's fancier.
Where is it?
Cola's. COL.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I haven't really been
by the Vista, and then that other place in the Vista. I'm blanking on the name right now. Motor Supply Company.
Yeah, I have not been to a ton of fancy restaurants here. I actually have never been to the Halls here in Columbia because again, I've only been to the one out in Nashville. So I can't really speak to best fancy restaurant here. Best restaurant in general, though. Oh man, there's a lot. I don't even know.
I put Gourmet Shop towards the top for me because I love to find a Gourmet Shop. Village Idiot for
Village Idiot. Yeah, you got to break it down by like what you like.
Category. I said like for casual, want to go have a drink, chill, watch a game. I love Village Idiot. For brunch, breakfast, Gourmet Shop. For fancy, Halls. Those were kind of my go-tos.
Yeah.
There's a sushi place that I also loved in the Vista, and I can't remember the name.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It's right next. Down this. Is it Lucky Toomey?
Yeah, is it right next to that axe throwing place?
No, it's not that one.
No.
It's. I'm pretty sure this.
Yeah, Dano's is solid.
Toomey, I believe. That's what it's called. It's in the Vista. It's really, really good.
I think it is. There's a lot of good restaurants in Columbia. So really.
Yeah, it's a great food scene. I love it. Oh, Beezer's. Come on.
Beezer's is good.
ASAP.
There's a lot of good spots.
I miss the food.
You need to get back to Columbia soon. I know. Salty Nut's pretty good. Yeah, there's an axe throwing place right. It's right near where what was it's a jewelry place.
There's a Chicago style pizza place right near it.
Old Chicago's pretty good. Rush's is pretty good. Yeah, it's true.
I'm trying to think of non-chains. Like California Dreamin's good, but that's a chain.
I enjoyed Paulie's. Paulie's I thought was pretty good.
That was on Food Network.
Yeah, that place is pretty good. What's it called? I haven't been there in a little bit. The burger place right nearby. I can't remember the name of it for some reason.
Jack
Brown's. Jack Brown's.
Yes.
Jack Brown's is good. Ruby Sunshine is where yesterday's used to be. Oh, that place is so good.
Oh, I didn't know that was open.
There's actually it's technically a chain because there is one in Charlotte, I believe.
There is.
So, but it's very
good. What's the dessert place called in the Vista? It's like all desserts.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Kaminsky's.
I knew it started with a K. And then obviously the best restaurant in all of Columbia. Shout out the 80 Pie House.
What?
So good.
What?
That fed me. Okay, so I was
in
Alpha Delta Pi. That was my sorority at South Carolina. And that's where I ate most of the time because we had lunch and dinner, and our Chef Hal, was incredible. He was a Gamecock Central listener. So Chef Hal, if you're out there listening, you are the best and you made the best food, and I miss it so much and I think about it all the time. I just loved eating there. That is where I ate majority of the time. Alpha Delta Pi, 80 Pie, our kitchen, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I miss it. They had this turkey apple brie on a croissant that they would make for lunch. Fire.
We do need a
let's do that.
show here. We need to do an official list and post it. One of these next times we do GC Live, we'll come up with the top 10 best restaurants in Columbia. You'll hear it straight from us. I think we'll do that.
Okay. Yeah, we got to do something to make these shows a little bit more fun, because I feel like we're just talking about stuff that people are angry over, which understandable. But let us know below, what is your favorite restaurant in Columbia, South Carolina? Yeah. Okay, everybody, that is going to do it for us here on GC Live today. Thank you so much for joining. For Jack Veltri, I'm Kendall Smith. Again, this has been GC Live here on Gamecock Central. Happy baseball season officially at the professional level, everybody. And we'll see you soon. Bye.